Like a bamboo in a hurricane, you bend with resiliency and strength and dignity without breaking. You see a bamboo here, we see one. How they bend. This is our true nature within ourselves. So, transforming suffering into joy. Suffering. When we talk about suffering, how can we not talk about Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha? He walked on this earth over 2,500 years ago. He was a prince, and he was very well protected by his father, and he lived in a beautiful palace with a beautiful wife, king, and a child. And he was so protected. He grew up that way. He was not aware of suffering. So he had this deep longing inside. He wanted to know the truth. He wanted to go out. So with his attendant, sometimes he would escape. And eventually he completely left the palace. In those days, he was not a Buddha. Buddha is just a title to say one who is awakened, one who has realized the true nature of our existence, how we are interconnected, interrelated by the same thread of our Creator. And so he went on and he saw a lot of suffering. He saw a dying man, and he had never been experiencing that. He saw aged people, old. You know, in India, he grew up in India, and so there were a lot of sadhu, older people, and then he saw disease, how some people were sick, and he started realizing, this is going to happen to me. And he realized, because he had never experienced suffering, he grew up as a prince. He had everything. He did not know in an experience what was suffering. So the insight of Gautama are really subtle yet powerful. First one, I asked to recognize suffering. We live in a world of duality, and some people don't realize this is how we experience the existential reality of this realm. How else are we going to experience love if hatred it's not there? How are we going to experience the light if darkness is not there? Out of darkness, light comes. How are we going to experience goodness, humbleness out of darkness, or bad or evil? This is what animates this and manifests this physical realm. And so Gautama the Buddha, I did not realize that. So many people who haven't, unless you have had a lot of suffering and thinking it comes externally. Yes, there is suffering. Yes, we experience duality. And some places around the world more than others. For instance, in India, duality is extreme. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend in your own time you go and experience a journey in India, and it will give you a different perspective on life. So, yes, it all exists, but it's how we transcend duality. Most suffering and pain, when you really look deep into yourself, you will realize it comes from within. Pay attention to your chattering mind. What's going on inside all the time? It's driven by your samskara and your vasana, which I talked into a previous video, which I refer you to watch it, Overcoming Depression, Anxiety, Depression with Meditation and Mindfulness. So we come here in the physical realm with a karmic structure, a memory of past that is in the subtle body. And in addition of that, as we grow, we accumulate garbage, all the conditioning from family, authority, media. It's an unconscious process, especially for people who grow up and lack a lot of consciousness or mindfulness, awareness, and most people do unless you come on this planet and you already self-realize. And so the chattering mind, it's a wild horse, training the wild horse. And the first step is to become mindful of it, becoming a witness of it. So Gautama, the Buddha, one who is above the buddhi, one who is above the mana. The mana is the lower mind. In the yogic tradition, it means the mana is just the memory of everything. And then there's the cheetah. The cheetah is like tapping into the cosmic, supreme intelligence of our Creator in the Akash. That is, we will talk more in depth about this, about all the different, what we call in the yogic tradition, the kosha, the sheets. They are like envelope of the subtle body. How to tap and to go into the Vishna Maya kosha. Vishna, which is exactly where the cheetah, yet you can experience the oneness, all the beauty of who we are, and experiencing and being able to download all that is there, the wisdom, everything, because within the seed of who we are, it's a seed pack. The whole cosmos is within ourselves. It's like a seed. And on a macroscopic level, we have our own little life, our own little pity thought. And on a cosmic level, universal level, we have within ourselves the microscopic. As I've said so many times, within ourselves we have our own divinity. So Gautama the Buddha also realized that what is the cause of suffering? So ask yourself that question, what caused you suffering? And when you look deep, you will realize that it's all, most of it, it's all prefabricated. You have put yourself in a little cage, self-fabricated little cage with all different pity thoughts that has been repressed. And I know in my own experience, a lot of the suffering was coming from my own thoughts. And when you become aware of this, you set yourself free, because I have said many times, you the gardener, you the alchemist of your divine garden. So when you choose instead ecstasy and joy and bliss, which is your true nature, what we call Satchit Ananda in the yogic tradition, is truly our true nature. Paramsa Yoga talked about that, and I have said that. One drop of Amrita, and it's true. The Satchit Ananda is divine love. It's experienced as divine love. It's very intoxicating. It's the absolute truth, omnipresent. Ananda, our bliss nature. This is who we are, and it's pushing all the boundaries of ignorance and making that distance and purifying all this karma. So joy, bliss is our intrinsic nature. We have it. We have within ourselves it's our Creator's gift to us, that we can use discernment, viveka, Viveka means discernment. To look what is important in my life. What is most important? Ask those questions. Is your life, you want to be stuck in suffering, or you really want to experience your true divine nature and self-realize? It's not so difficult. It's like a beautiful flower. I have talked about that. A lotus who just blossom. We all have within ourselves this intrinsic nature to blossom in the garden of divine love. Krishna had said in the Bhagavad Gita about the self, the sword cannot pierce it, the fire cannot burn it, the wind cannot dry it, and the water cannot wet it. That is our ultimate nature. So, become aware of your suffering and be in touch with the power of the fire of mindfulness. And there are many tools, and this is for in my program, among other tools. There are many paths, and ultimately they all lead to the same. Meditation, many forms of meditation. However, dhyana meditation, which is making a distance with your mind, in my experience, is the most subtle and the more powerful. When you do it, you close eyes. There are many. There is samadhi samyama, which you meditate with your eyes open, with object and subject. Another really subtle, very powerful. I found it very zen, and there are many. So there is a remedy, many remedy to attend to your divine garden and get rid of suffering. When you realize suffering is part of this realm and this is how we experience nature and this existence, then you will know life is going to be like that. There will be up and down, there will be challenges. Look, today the whole planet is going through an incredible transformation, and so much karmic collective consciousness is in the process of purification. A lot of people feel they're suffering right now and pain. And on top of that, if they are burning out a lot of karma, ultimately, in the yogic tradition, is the purification of a lot of karma. And you could do through that pranayama. There are different initiation to work with the breath, what I already talked about with the life force energy, and to purify and clear all those impressions and tap into the supreme intelligence, this consciousness. When one is humble and go back and look down, and I can say, I don't know, but I feel my longing. I recognize I have pain and feel, and I want to discover who I am. And I want to cultivate this most beautiful divine garden so the fragrance can intoxicate everyone around you.